my biggest fears have manifested. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Shalay and I am a spiritual entrepreneur who has dedicated their entire life to living one that is intuitively led, and I basically document that process. So I just spent the morning at the cafe that I like to work at to do some work. I've been really loving working at the cafe to get things done, and I came back, I ate some food, I didn't film that process, and I just had a shower, and I've honestly, I don't know where the time's gone. It's like I'm just destined for being late to everything. Like I'm constantly rushing because I'm constantly fucking around. I wanted to be like really intentional and slow with getting ready, but I spent way too long in the shower. I couldn't get out. Then I started popping my pimples. Like, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but holy shit. I actually used to be a skin therapist. I actually got a degree in skin. It's called dermal science. I know a thing or two about skin, and I know not to pick your pimples, but it's also one of my guilty pleasures. But when it used to be my job, I used to be able to kind of let it all out on my clients. And now that it's not my job anymore, I let it all out of me. In other news, I'm also like, what am I late for, you ask? Well, let me tell you. I've been invited to be on a podcast, which is super exciting. Don't mind this, by the way. I know it's disgusting, but it's basically sticky tape because I like to trace my eyeliner on. Anyway, that's not important, okay? Why did I put this away? We need this. So I literally have that in 40 minutes and I'm not doing it from here. So hence why I'm rushing. I have to go to my mum's because my partner came home from work early because he's feeling sick. So, you know, we're rolling with the punches today. That's okay. And I really need like a quiet space to do the interview because he has a meeting. So he's working from home. He shouldn't be working at all, but his life, not mine. It was really funny. I was like sitting there going, oh, you know what? I'll get a green juice and I'll make it all vibey. Nobody's getting a green juice. You don't have time for that. What time is it? 2:22. Alignment. We're okay. Calm down, surely. You know what makes everything better? Mascara and bronzer. I haven't even introduced what this video is going to be about. I'll talk about it properly later when I've got time. But basically, like this eclipse and this Mars retrograde, if you don't know, we're currently in eclipse season. This video should be out during eclipse season or just at the back end of it. And we have a Mars retrograde going on until January. And while, yes, we don't want to give our power to these planets, they do energetically affect us in a way, and they all affect us differently. And it's kind of good to know what's happening in the sky because then it helps you to really navigate things. I find it helps me. This eclipse has been very, very, very intense, like my worst fears manifesting type of intense. Like I said, I will update you later. I don't even know why I'm getting into this. It's because I can't stop talking. I'll be able to explain that better soon. I'm gonna run out the door. I've got 30 minutes before the podcast interview, so I will speak to you soon. actually made it on time. Honestly, I don't even know how that happened. Time like warped in my favor then. I just finished up the podcast interview. I'll leave it linked in the description below and where you can find the interview if you were interested. To be honest, I really wasn't sure if I was going to film today, but I'm glad that I did get the camera out because I feel as though what I'm about to talk about is something that not many people talk about, and I can understand because when you're going through the difficulty that comes with this self-awareness and spiritual journey, when you're like actually walking through and moving through the muck of it all, it's a lot. It's a lot emotionally to handle. You're trying to hold yourself through it. You're healing. You're really sensitive. And then to open yourself up to other people and have other people see you in this journey, being open to like their opinions on this journey or even being open to judgment. It's really, really difficult, but it's a big part of why I actually created this channel in the first place. So I'm really working through this resistance of showing up in the true, real version of me, the raw form of me, when I'm going through the highs, but also when I'm going through the lows. So in saying that, as I mentioned earlier, we are currently navigating eclipse season. It's the last eclipse season for the year, and we're currently in a Mars retrograde, which is known to really affect us because of how close Mars is to Earth. So we really feel the energy when Mars goes in retrograde, which is not a common occurrence as well, but it usually makes people feel sluggish, like as a general statement. It's not like that for everyone. I highly recommend just looking up what a Mars retrograde actually is. It's Mars retrograde in Gemini, and honestly, I have Mars in Gemini in my 10th house, which is the house of like career and things like that. So I'm like, holy fucking shit, like let's buckle up. I used to be really afraid of transits, like astrological things happening, particularly like eclipses and full moons. I used to feel really, really scared to face my darkness, and it's something that I've really, really been working on with my spiritual awakening. And honestly, this eclipse, my biggest fears have manifested, and it's deeply fucking uncomfortable. I'm in this really like uncertain period of my life where things haven't gone in the way that I planned, or things have kind of been thrown at me that I wasn't prepared for, and I'm really having to hold myself through it. Through this process, a lot of anxiety has been coming to the surface, a lot of like unease in my nervous system where I just feel so unsafe every single day. And it's so funny because it's not just my biggest fears coming to the surface, it's also like really big manifestations being manifest as well, like things that I desire actually coming to fruition during this time as well. So it really is holding this duality. I'd love to hear what this period is like for you at the moment. Like, how are you feeling through it? What's been coming up? If you feel comfortable to talk about it, if you feel comfortable sharing, please share in the comments below. It's been a fun one. So if you're also going through the thick of it, know that you are not alone. But through this process, I've really come back to how I was at the start of my awakening journey when I first started to get introduced to this stuff, because I'm not gonna lie, like I did lose that love and that connection to the spiritual world because I got so stuck into this physical plane, which I think is important. At one point in my life, I was spending no time on earth. I was just like up in the cosmos living my life. I was actually like getting sick and like my body wasn't functioning properly. I wasn't actually in my body, and I was like, okay, I need to come back to earth and I need to focus on being on earth. And then I focused on being on earth, but then I became too earthbound and then I got too stuck into the matrix. With everything that's kind of happened, it's now finally helped me kind of break away from what's happening around me, because the anxiety's been so profound that I'm like, okay, I need to step away from all of that, and now I need to tap back into divine source, tap back into that love that we all have access to. And I know it sounds corny and cheesy, but this is how we navigate life, because the truth behind all of this is we came here to feel everything, all of it, the good, the bad, and we have to allow ourselves to be able to feel it all because our soul's intended to. Keep our hearts open while we are feeling all of that, keeping your chest open no matter how much it hurts, and focusing on feeling all of that while reminding yourself that you are safe. And honestly, it's been doing these practices of reminding myself that I'm safe, holding myself again, meditating again, doing breath work, doing EFT tapping to calm my nervous system, all of the things that I do, that has really, really helped me in holding myself through this difficult period. And it's just reminded me why I started all of this in the first place. So there's so much beauty in this dark time as well. I guess I wanted to relay that message of, if you are going through a tough time, trust that it's all for a reason. Trust that it's teaching you something. Trust that it's a part of your soul's lesson and that you can get through it, because your soul will never ever throw something your way that you aren't strong enough to actually move through. So while it's tough, remind yourself you know this work. I think if you're here in this space, you know this work. You know how important it is to feel and not to suppress, and just remind yourself it's just an emotion and all it wants to do is to pass through. So every single time that feeling comes up, just like open your chest, allow the lessons, allow the pain, allow all of it to come through, and just keep your chest open, keep your chest open, keep your heart open. Anyway, I might sit here and do a little bit more work. I might not. I'm not too sure I'm going to feel into it. Then I have to work out dinner. And I also have a Zoom date with one of my really good friends who's also a guest teacher in Multidimensional Living, but I'm going to do a reading for her. I received one from her last week and it was so good. It was everything I needed. I get a reading like every 6 months, so it was really, really beautiful to get that reading from her, and now I get to return the favor, which is awesome. Alright, this was literally my attempt to try and get some good lighting in this house, but I cannot, clearly. I was planning on doing a breathwork and meditation. Breathwork is one of my favorite things to do for emotional release, to regulate my nervous system when I'm feeling like really anxious and on edge. I highly recommend it. There's this one video that I recommend on YouTube. It's completely for free. It is my favorite breathwork to do. It's not too masculine. You know how sometimes you can do breathwork and it's like a lot of energy. I know a lot of Dr. Joe Dispenza's breathworks are like that, and it kind of deters me from doing it every day, whereas this one is really gentle. However, it still does the job. I literally recommend it to everyone. I've recommended it on this channel before and I will like forever be recommending it. I basically spent the night eating pasta and then I had that reading with my friend, which didn't end up being a reading anyway. We were guided to something else and then we ended up talking for like 2 hours, as you do. Nevertheless, it was so amazing to connect with her, so expansive to have people in this community who literally see the world through your eyes. We've been, like with this particular friend, we've been on this journey together for a year and we were just reflecting on how much our lives have changed within a year. And it was a really beautiful full circle moment. We really got to reminisce on like the things we used to sit there and daydream about. And we used to be like, oh, I can't wait for this and I can't wait for that. And we're literally experiencing those like can't waits. And then it just makes me think like, what is the next year going to bring, considering how much changed in such a short amount of time. And I think a lot of people like forget that, but when you are living this like soul-led life, things change so quickly because you are changing at such a fast rate. Okay, my hand is officially going to break. I am going to end it here. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sending you so much love, particularly if you are going through an emotional time right now. Know that you aren't alone. If you like this video, don't forget to let me know by giving it a thumbs up and leaving a comment if you feel called, and don't forget to subscribe. I'd love to have you a part of the community. Sending you so much love and I'll see you in the next one.